Hi, Annette. Thank you so much for being here. Hi.
Hey. Oh, good afternoon at this point.
Woo, good afternoon. I know. I know. I'm so excited to have you as part of my success stories series. And thank you so much for taking the time to spend time with me and spend time really just sharing your story with everyone who's watching because I think it'll be of value.
Okay, well, hi everyone. My name is Annette. I live in New York and I'm a mom, an actor, and a writer. And I also have a full-time day job. I have a skin condition called rosacea, which is really a vascular condition, so it confounds all the dermatologists. And I know that it's an inside out job. I knew I had to figure out what I was eating and what I was doing to heal from it. And I thought I'd healed from rosacea 13 years ago. I hadn't seen any kind of an outbreak and felt like I had a handle on whatever triggers I saw, made it come out. And then so I found myself in the fall seeing breakouts, and I thought, well, I did try a trigger of mine, which is tomato for me. I haven't had tomatoes in years. And I saw an immediate bump. And then a month later, I had a little bit of sangria, which alcohol always exacerbates rosacea. And I thought, well, it's my fault, but why isn't it going away, even doing what I normally do to heal it? And I wasn't even thinking about lifestyle and also hormonal changes and just being a different person than I was 24 years ago when I first was diagnosed, or even 13 years ago when I thought I got a handle on this.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Melissa Guzman for giving me your name and information, right? Woo! When I contacted you, you were so giving and generous even before I was a client. You were like, well, it could be this, maybe try that. And I
Oh,
got,
stop.
I
Stop.
mean, you were like wise about it. You weren't giving away everything for free, but you were like, here's something you might want to try.
Yeah, so that, I mean, essentially I was going to ask you how did we find each other? And so I wanted to share a little tidbit about Melissa. Melissa was a client of mine that had one of the most aggressive forms of MS, and she was my most aggressive MS client to date, still to this day. And she went from being hospitalized 7 times in a 15-month period to doing kickboxing. Hello.
Amazing.
Hello. And then
Heroics.
but you guys are friends in the acting world, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we found each other through her.
Exactly. Very
Thank,
grateful.
thank you, Melissa. I
Yeah.
love you so much. Okay.
Little
So
heart.
so Annette, what was your struggle? Just get a little bit about the struggle that you were having right before we started working together.
Well, I felt that I was spiraling I was in this downward spiral of aches and pains and just feeling old. And I'm not old,
Oh,
excuse me. And I also hated hearing myself say that out loud, especially in front of my child who's 10 now. And he would say, Mommy, you're not old. And I was like, yeah, don't say that, even if he's not here. But I couldn't help feeling that way because I was having foot pain in both my feet. Didn't know what was causing that. I couldn't heal myself in the way that I knew how. I felt like I was looking so ugly because, on the face, we all, I guess, are vain enough to want to always look our best. And that affected my mood. And so I was getting depressed and I didn't want to go outside and show my face to the world. But I was used to that with rosacea. I'd had 3 outbreaks in my past that made me feel the same way. But I'm mentally in a much better space than I was back then because I was so insecure about it. And it was all I cared about was my looks. And
yeah.
this time around, I was proud of myself that I was able to go into the world and be like, yeah, I have this cyst on my face. It's okay. But I didn't like the way I was physically feeling, and also emotionally, I was like, huh, I'm a little down. And I think that that's what held me forward into seeking help, because I was like, everything I'm trying or everything that I know used to work isn't working and I'm lost.
Yeah. And so what were your frustrations specifically around this time that kind of spurned you forward?
I was frustrated that whatever I used to try in the past that zapped them away or made my skin look clear weren't working at all.
Mm-hmm.
Felt that maybe they were even making it worse. And then I started questioning every little thing I did. I was like, well, maybe that's actually now no longer good for me and is making me worse. And I just want to say that this keeps coming to mind, and maybe it's too early to say, but I wasn't thinking about the fact that it wasn't just what I was ingesting or what I was topically putting on, which was all natural stuff like olive oil for moisturizing and coconut oil. And my favorite zapper was apple cider vinegar with some filtered water. None of that was working. And I wasn't thinking about the fact that I was unfortunately doing some really harmful things to my body by going to bed late a lot. I was getting a lot of sleep. I was kind of punishing myself in a way that I wasn't really aware of. Mm-hmm. Not drinking enough water, which those are two of my main issues still. It's just a lifestyle thing. We're
gonna get to this part because this is all the juicy, right? Yeah. These are all the juicy tidbits, which I think people will have little light bulb moments for themselves when they're listening to you, because many people have rosacea and many people struggle with these skin disorders like eczema and psoriasis and rosacea, psoriatic arthritis that manifests itself in lesions on the skin. So it's very, very common, unfortunately too common, right?
Yeah.
So so you were having these frustrations or whatever. What made you take the time to reach out to me and then ultimately invest your time, finances, and energy into then finally just saying, okay, I'm going to work with Michaela?
I definitely don't feel that I'm capricious with my money. I don't spend it super easily on things without research. And I also felt egotistically maybe that I had a handle on things. I was like, look, I know what brings my rosacea out. I'm just going to do what I normally do and I'll be fine. When I saw that wasn't working, I really felt very worried and lost because I felt like I didn't know myself and I didn't know how my body was working anymore. So because it was taking a long time and I didn't like feeling and looking so poorly for so long, it was just kismet. I happened to reach out to Melissa to see if she wanted another Reiki session because I had given her some Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner. And she said, I'm down in Miami now. And we caught up and she said she was doing much better and mentioned that she had been working with a nutritionist. And I said, yeah, I might need one. I had worked with one in 2002 who helped me figure out how to heal naturally. And again, because I saw that what I learned wasn't working for me any longer, I was ready to invest in someone to help me focus and become accountable. And I always need a bit of a helping hand. So even if it comes to something creative, like writing a new script, if I could take a writing class, it really motivates me to get the work done and have deadlines and all that. So I wanted to meet you first, of course, and see if we were a good fit. And I thought you were so open and really caring. Not even knowing how physically gorgeous you are. You're just beautiful inside and out. And so in love with what you do and helping people that, I wanted to be a part of that. Of course, I wanted to heal. It was all selfish, but I really liked you as a person. And I was already seeing before I made the commitment that I was like, oh, she actually is going to teach me something new, because I felt like I had learned it all. I knew how my body worked. I knew what my triggers were, what to avoid. And already, like from the first text messaging, you had said something that I was like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. All right, she knows things that I don't know and I need to learn more.
I love it. So what do you think is different about my program versus maybe some other things that you may have tried in the past? What do you think is different?
Well, I've only really had one other program in terms of rosacea, which was with a nutritionist years ago. And he was here in New York, so I would go and visit him. And he helped me to learn about what foods might be anti-inflammatory and how to increase my nutrition, even though I was always a pretty clean eater and a Coca-Cola potato chips person, but I was learning more about what was going to help. And with him, it was one-on-one and changing my diet. And I also love vegetables, so I didn't find it super challenging, and that was a relief. I was like, I could incorporate this and it's not going to be a struggle. So with you, I have to say, Melissa warned me. She's like, she's hardcore and she's going to make you show up and you can't, just be prepared. And I was like, all right, I think I'm ready. But I was nervous. Yeah, I was nervous. And what was great was keeping a food diary, which I've told my sister to do this because she has issues as well. And I said, I know it can be daunting to write everything down. I said, so maybe only write down when you notice something has changed. And I had to write down everything with you. And it was great because then I could see what I was doing, where I was maybe straying, or if I was not doing things at the right time of day. I was like starting out too late and not having enough water, until late in the day or whatever. It was a good way to focus. Plus, you genuinely, caringly were there for me. You were like, listen, I'm here for you. You have questions. Or we would talk about, I would send photos of my journal and you would say, well, look, you had some gluten. I think you're gluten sensitive and that's why your face is red again. So that was helpful. And it was just a good way having you with me to be more mindful. And I think it's easy for all of us to just do things and think, I don't know why I look like this. I think that I did everything right. It's like, well, you went to bed at 12:30 a.m. So that wasn't the best thing, and it just makes me more mindful of how they're all connected,
Yeah, thank you for sharing that because people don't realize these little innocuous things, right? We're all Google addicts.
Right.
All of us Google everything. You know how many times I've self-diagnosed,
right.
On Google or on, medscape.com or whatever, WebMD, like, oh my God, I have basal cell carcinoma based on my whatever. And it's like, so it's really easy to be addicted to Googling things.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you entrusted your health and your body to this process, I want to just acknowledge you for that because I know that takes a lot of courage to do, especially since you had been educated prior to working with me, and you're very mindful and conscious about what it is that you eat in your lifestyle. So thank you for entrusting your health in the process that I create for my clients. So let's talk about the successes. What have been the most exciting outcomes that you want to just shout from the rooftops? Or what have been the most exciting outcomes for you, or really the most surprising ones, like,
Well, because I had made such a huge lifestyle change decades ago and it was hard. I'm Italian American and I learned that I could no longer have tomatoes, and that was like saying I couldn't inhale anymore. And I didn't know how I was going to live, but I made it work. And because I felt like I had sacrificed so much, another thing is I'm a chocoholic who can't have chocolate because that's another big trigger. Although we should talk about raw cacao sometime. But anyway, I hope to one day be able to have that again. But I felt like I had made so many sacrifices and I was not going to have to sacrifice anymore. Gosh darn it. Like, don't tell me I can no longer have something else because I have already taken out so much from my diet. And what scared me when we were working together was you said, I think I'm seeing a pattern that you have a gluten sensitivity and you have to be gluten-free. And I was like, I will die if I have to be gluten-free because, like, how can I give up more? And that's in everything. And I don't even have that much of it, but let me have my bread, let me have my dessert. And I've been saying for years, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't have a lot of vices, but I'll give myself dessert because it's like the one thing that I do to my body that's not so great. And I don't abuse it. And I thought I have to get rid of that too. I feel like I'm going to have the most boring life. And I went on a cruise in my 4th week with you. And I thought, you'll let me have that 1 week off, right? And you were like, no.
No. No.
And zip it.
That's a no.
And I was good. I was so good on that cruise. I was a good student. Okay, we're going to try, like, you were helping me to reincorporate things to see if they affected me. Pardon me. So I was still in denial about the gluten. Little piece of banana bread, like the banana bread was maybe this big, and I had a bite, like a little square. And I looked in the mirror a few minutes later, and I was splotchy, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a little red. But it's not just bread, it was a baked item, so maybe I could have regular bread. We'll see. And then I tested it again with another piece, I think the next day, and I was splotchy. And I thought, okay, well, that's banana bread. I'm still gonna have some bread.
Yeah.
And I've since not really had, like, we've been now off, we haven't worked together in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
It's been too long as far as I'm concerned, but yes, almost a month.
Almost a month. Okay. So I haven't really had bread, but a friend of mine works at a bakery where she said, I know someone who is a celiac and she is not affected by sourdough bread, like true sourdough bread. And I said, yeah, sourdough can be really healthy. She's like, may I gift you with a loaf? And you can see, and I've had 2 different slices on 2 different days this week. And I think I was okay with it. So like every now and then I might try something, but I've been staying on the plan, if you will, in terms of avoiding gluten and, so I don't have pastas, I don't have breads, and I'm not really having dessert. I think I might have had a little bite of something at a group gathering at work, and because I was like, I don't want to be foolish about it. I don't want to go back to what I looked and felt like.
Yeah,
a lot of it is vanity, absolutely. Like I love looking clean and clear, and walking out the door and not having people notice a thing. Like even though I still see things, they won't notice it because it's not so in their face like it was when I first started with you, where I had really visible cysts that were painful and very red. And I have fair skin, so I felt like the contrast was even more jarring. So I know that it's an ongoing thing. It's a chronic condition. It's an autoimmune thing. So I'm hoping that I just stick with it and not fall back thinking, well, my skins look great for 6 months, I'm going to go back to how I was. I don't think I can. I think that my regimen now is, this is what I do. And
I think you're good. I think you're good. Yeah. I'm just going to put you on hold just for half a second.
I didn't even hear anything.
Okay. Yeah, no, believe it or not, the sound will pick up from far away. So you're most excited about, look at how gorgeous your skin looks. Your skin looks.
Yeah, I have no makeup on, which I'm also not a makeup girl except for my lipstick. And this side, for some reason, has always been okay. It was this side we were working on, and I had, dots all over, which you can still see lightly that they're there, but it's flat and feels good. And I had a big one here. I had a tremendous one here that now you still see a dot, but it's flat. It was
like a lump.
Yeah. And it scared me because it was by my brain. And
then we overthink it and then go on Google and then bam.
I actually didn't go on Google, but I was concerned. It was unlike anything I'd seen before, and it was aggressive.
Yeah.
And considering I had, like I said, thought I'd learned everything about it, I was like, what's going on? Is this even rosacea anymore? And then there were people, of course, who don't know a thing who were like, that's not rosacea. I know what rosacea looks like. You have whatever. And I was like, well, I know I have rosacea.
Right, yeah.
Things happening that's different that I can't figure out. So I'm most excited, of course, about looking better, feeling better, learning more about how my body changes. But I do have a concern that, and it was 24 years ago when I learned I had to change my diet and my lifestyle. 24 years have passed, and I'm like, in 24 years, or maybe even in 7 years, am I going to see changes again? I may, and I have to be okay with that and then just learn from that.
Yeah.
But, I just, the hardest part for me is I love to go out to dinner with friends. The sad part is there are more places that have gluten-free options, or, they say, if you have allergies, talk to us. I say it's sad because that means there are more and more people that are having these autoimmune issues.
Oh, absolutely.
We talked about this during our video chats that, we don't have nutrient-dense foods, our soil is compromised and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm excited to know someone like you and build a community from that. I'm excited to learn more. I'm excited about looking better. I still have my fears. I still have my pains. I'm still human, so I'm going to have good and bad days. But it's so lovely to have you as a friend. You are an intelligent, knowledgeable person who always makes me feel first of all, not crazy, and that I can do this. I can
Thank you.
maintain good health,
You can, and you can. What would you say to someone who is on the fence about working with me, or they're scared, and they should be, because I am tough. What would you say to them about their trepidation, or what about working with me? What would you say to them?
I would say an investment in yourself and in your health is not a foolish investment. It's not money going down the drain. It's money well spent. You will learn a lot, or a little, but you'll learn something. And for those who are like me, who are like, well, should I be giving a few $100s to somebody and it may not work? You are going to, in that time with Michaela, be good to yourself. You're going to love yourself. You're going to do all the things that you probably should have been doing all along, but maybe just stopped for whatever reason. And I feel like healing comes from being mindful and remembering just to be good to ourselves, and you help a lot with that. And everything's connected, and mental, emotional, and physical health is all connected, right? And
Yeah.
so I think that you're really good at showing support and being a great cheerleader. So if you're on the fence, I would say, if you're not working with Michaela, you're still having your issue, and you're still probably living in fear over what's happening, what's going on. You're still probably depressed or just emotionally in some kind of turmoil because you're not looking or feeling your best. So you could either continue in that way and hold on to your money, or you can give your money to Michaela and find out, oh, this is why this is happening, and slowly but surely get to a place of stasis where you'll be so grateful in the end. I hope. Yeah.
You're so sweet, and thank you for saying that.
Also, if I want to quickly say, Michaela walks the walk and talks the talk. She has come from having, to deal with her own MS, and know that, it takes a lot of work, and it's very scary. So you've been there, you understand, and you're here for us, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for
You're
saying
welcome.
that.
You are inspirational.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I told a colleague about your story as I was working with you, and she said, "Oh my God, you gave me chills." And I said, "Yeah, it's that awesome."
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story. And people do need to hear that that making an investment in something like this is really worth it if you just don't know what else to do. And I got to the point in my health as well where I don't know what else to do.
Right.
And I started working with this functional medicine doctor in the same kind of realm as you and I are working in. And she also was pricey. I'm just going to say what it is, right? Say it for what it is. She was pricey, and I was a little scared. But I'm so happy that I made the leap and let her help me, because I'm here today and doing my thing because of God. So to someone else who has rosacea, who is like you, just frustrated and concerned, and their face hurts and their skin is sensitive and they just flared up, what would you say to them around the kind of program this is and how it could help
them? Excuse me. For me, first of all, everybody who has rosacea, every body is different. So everyone's triggered in a different way. I know someone who still insists that he is not affected by what he eats, but he's affected by the environment. So fluorescent lighting and latex products really bother him. And so every program is going to be designed differently for each person. So I think that if you're like me and you're emotionally affected by how you look and how you feel, Michaela's program is going to be centered on you, what you need. She's going to figure out with you, like, oh, I see that when you have this, it affects you in a negative way, but when you do this, you look better. And I think that because it's inflammation, learning about what's anti-inflammatory, it's tricky. Some things can work and some things don't. Just be patient and breathe and remember to love yourself and know that you're beautiful inside and out no matter what. And that this is your body's way of lovingly saying, hey, something's not right. You need to change it because this is, I'm showing you on your face or on, people have it on their chest at different places.
Yeah.
And Michaela can help you to even just by remembering to breathe and love yourself and just chill for a moment. Because for me, if I'm like anxious, like it creates heat. And I think that because it's vascular, when our circulation increases, it's going to create redness and maybe welts. For rosacea people, just be mindful of what you're ingesting and what you're doing to yourself. Because with me staying up late, I'm a night owl. I have a lot of energy at night. It was damaging me because I was going to bed way too late and getting way too little sleep. And I'm also still not drinking enough water. And I notice that when I do, my body feel like when I sleep more, I feel coated the next day. I feel like I have a shield around me that's protecting me.
Yes.
Physically feel different. I feel less raw.
The shield of hydration.
Yeah, but the sleep, even if I'm not better with the water, the sleep, I literally feel the difference when I have a longer night's sleep. So I don't know, specifically for rosacea, just love yourself and be patient because it is going to heal and it is going to look and be better. You're going to look and feel better.
Well, thank you. I love your story and thank you for sharing it. And I feel like people that have rosacea and they have autoimmune response in their body need to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that there is a way to the other side.
And it is so hard to see that and know that when you're alone and when you're not finding any change. Mm-hmm. And I had already been there. I had already been in a place where I looked awful, felt awful, and then I thought I healed. So I had gone through it again, and I still was feeling like, nope, I guess this is how I'm going to look and be, and this is the worst. And why me, and all that nonsense. And I know that a lot of us suffer from other issues, whether it's eczema or any other skin thing, and we just want to look and feel our best. So getting into a program is only going to be beneficial.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to do it alone.
It's hard to do anything alone. I got this. That's my favorite.
Right. Because we're intelligent, and I know
that the 3 letters, the 3 words that always get us in trouble. I got this, and I know that.
Right.
Right.
And I was very defensive. I get defensive when people tell me.
A little bit at the beginning when we first met. But only because you were living in fear,
right?
And you were in a lot of kind of frustration place, like in a place of just I don't know what to do anymore.
Right. And I wasn't sure if I could trust that someone was going to teach me something new because I learned it all before, but there was more to learn, and there's always more to learn. So I'm really grateful for learning that lesson, that if in a few years or in a few decades I'm finding myself again going, what's happening? I'll remember I just have to learn something new and it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I adore you. I think you're fabulous and
I adore
wonderful,
you.
And we're going to be lifelong friends. So it's not a goodbye. It's until next time. And thank you for sharing your story for someone else who has the similar struggle to you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to sign out, and I love you. Mm-hmm. I know you guys are going to be great, and I will talk to you soon.
God bless you all. Take care. Mwah.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.